A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 went off the radar and disappeared on Saturday, the 8th of March 2014. Months later, a similar incident was reported today, also in the Southeast Asian region. The Air Asia Indonesia flight QVZ 8501 disappeared from radar and made no further communication with air traffic control early in the flight from Subanya to Singapore. What mysterious fate could have befallen this flight? We have details on this story and much more on News First International Desk. But before that, here's a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Over 1 million affected and 21 killed owing to landslides and flooding. The President inspects the displaced in Badulla. The Sirasa Shakti John Kilsane Yatra leaves Colombo to provide relief to the affected. An emergency sitting of Parliament should be convened to address the plight of people affected by extreme weather. A statement by the All Ceylon Peasants Federation. The Muslim Congress pledges their support to Maithripala Sirisena.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa met with people affected by the extreme weather in the Badulla district this morning.
The President had cancelled several rallies that he was to attend this morning and had turned his attention towards providing relief for people in the Badulla district who have been affected by the extreme weather conditions. The presidential media unit said that the President visited scenes of landslides in Wilpula, Madagama and Morogolawata in Badulla today and looked into the situation there. The President also visited the Walike Mulla Mahavidyalaya and inquired into the well-being of people who have been displaced by the natural disasters. The President had stated that homes that were destroyed by landslides in the Badulla district will be rebuilt in areas that are not landslide prone. The presidential media unit said that the President had also instructed the relevant authorities to ensure that welfare work for the affected populace is carried out appropriately and continuously. The government has also decided to provide financial aid for farmers to recultivate paddy fields that were destroyed as a result of the extreme weather.
More than 1 million people have been affected by landslides, floods and other related disaster situations. The Disaster Management Centre says that the number of deaths that were reported as a result of the adverse weather has increased to 21. The current floods were caused by the reservoirs and the rivers in the Central Hills overflowing as a result of the continuous downpours. The North, North Central and the Eastern provinces were affected as a result of a large amount of water flowing through adjacent reservoirs entering the Mahaweli River. A number of areas in the Polonnaru district continue to be inundated and a similar situation has arisen in the Trincomalee district. Floods were reported in a number of areas in the Trincomalee district as well. Floods were reported from the Ralkuli village in Muttur this morning and approximately 100 families are affected by the floods. Vehicular movement was hampered as a result of the Trincomalee-Batticaloa road being inundated. The Irrigation Department stated that with the prevailing floods, the risk of the security bund of the Mahaweli River being breached as a result of the Mavilaru Reservoir overflowing has arisen. The department has requested the area residents to remain vigilant and to move to safer locations. The road leading from Polonnaru to Batticaloa has been inundated for 10 days as a result of floods from the Mahaweli River. Our correspondent stated that Gallalla, Manmita and a number of villagers remain submerged.
Newsfirst කණ්ඩායම මේ රැඳී සිටින්නේ පොළොන්නරුව ගල්ලැල්ල ප්‍රදේශයේ.
The Newsfirst team is currently in Gallalla, Polonnaruwa. The water that you see is not a reservoir, but flood water. This is a small village in the Galalla area, and the Mahaveli River is also located in close proximity. The police and the three armed forces cannot confirm how long it will take for the flood waters to recede in this village. The search and rescue team of the Polonnaruwa police rendered the Newsfirst team with much support today.
Newsfirst වෙනුවෙන් සුදත් වෙහෙරවත්ත සමගින් මම මංජුල ප්‍රේමරත්න ගල්ලැල්ල ප්‍රදේශයේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ජලයෙන් යට වූ ප්‍රදේශයේ සිට.
Residents of Gallala, Mannamitiya are receiving shelter at places of worship in the area. Flood waters in the Anuradhapura sacred grounds have begun receding gradually. A number of shops in the Nilavi area in Anuradhapura were damaged as a result of a strong wind that blew through the area. Our correspondent stated that a number of houses in the Pubudupura area in Anuradhapura are inundated and that the residents have been moved to the schools in the area. The Badulla district was heavily affected by landslides. 2 more bodies of missing individuals from the Rilpola landslide were discovered today, and the count of bodies now stands at 10. The DMC stated that search operations are still being carried out with the support of Sri Lanka Army. However, the DMC added that the adverse weather is affecting the search operation.
පෙරේදා සිදුවුණු විශාල නායෑමක් නිසා මේ ස්ථානයේ ජීවිත ගණනාවක් අහිමි වුණා.
A number of lives were lost due to the massive landslide at this location. Search and rescue operations to locate the bodies were underway since yesterday and continue today. The Rilpola Wevelhina road, which was not accessible due to this massive landslide, was cleared for vehicular movement with the help of the Disaster Management Centre, the police and the area residents.
ගමනාගමනයට සුදුසු ආකාරයෙන් සකසලා තිබෙනවා.
Meanwhile, 120 houses in the Amunuwalpitiya village in the Haliyala Divisional Secretariat are facing a risk of landslides in the area. A correspondent in the area stated that the residents have been relocated at welfare centres. The residents of the 3rd mile post area on the Badulla Passara road have also been evacuated as a result of a landslide warning. Meanwhile, vehicular movement along the Badulla Morotota road was hampered as a result of falling earth embankments. A risk of landslide has arisen in the Kanavaralla estate in Passara. Newsfirst correspondent in the area stated that residents of 23 houses in the area have been evacuated. Area residents in the Madugattawala area in Passara are stating that an area of approximately 5 acres in a rubber estate is showing signs of a landslide. A bus that was travelling on the Passara-Madulsima road met with an accident as a result of the road caving in. Meanwhile, the Newsfirst reporter captured this footage of a landslide on the Markandura Baralgam road in close proximity to the Markandura bridge. The Sirasa Shakti John Keel Sahanayatra departed today carrying essential aid for people who have been affected by flooding across the island. Prior to the departure, religious observances were held at the head office of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited in Colombo.
John Keel's Holdings PLC has partnered with the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited on this endeavour. The essential aid which is being taken to flood-affected people across the island was packaged at the premises since last night. Religious observances were held at the head office of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited this morning, ahead of the departure of the Sahanayatra.
අද දවසේ වුන් සැලසුම් කරලා තියෙන සෑම දෙයක්ම හොඳින් ඒ ආකාරයෙන්ම කරගන්නට
බිස්මිල්ලාහිර් රහ්මානිර් රහීම් අල්හම්දුලිල්ලාහි රබ්බිල් ආලමීන් අර්රහ්මානිර් රහීම් මාලිකි යෞමිද්දීන්.
Organizing a Herculean task of this magnitude was no easy feat. In less than 24 hours, as Sri Lanka's leading media organization, it is a privilege and honor for us to lead in such instances and join hands with like-minded partners to ensure that we do not look at the impossibilities of such situations, but look at the possibilities in making a difference in the communities we work and operate in. I wish the drivers and the staff accompanying this on this journey a very successful and safe journey.
The Sahanayatra is headed to flood-affected areas in Putlam, Polonnaruwa, Anuradhapura, Trincomalee and Batticaloa.
We're currently here at the Pahala Pulyan Kurma Kanishta Mahavidyalaya, located in Karula Gaswava, which is one of the locations or the relief camps where, as you can see behind me, there are around 86 people who have sought refuge from the extreme weather conditions here.
The convoy, which departed to Putlam, commenced distributing aid at several locations.
අපිට මේ වෙලා තියෙන ආපදාවේ හැටියට මෙහෙමවත් දෙයක් හම්බෙන එකට අපිට ලොකු සතුටක් ඉතින්. වෙන ඉතින් කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ.
දැන් දවස් 4ක් විතර වෙන්න වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ අපේ හාමුදුරුවෝ තමයි අපට ගොඩක් උදව් කරලා මේ ඔයාලත් දැන් ඇවිල්ලා මේ උදව් කරන්නේ. ඔයාලට ගොඩක් ඒ අතින් පිහින්.
අපිට මේ ගොඩක් සාහනයක් මේ වෙලාවේ අපේ තියෙන සේරම බඩු ගිහිලා තියෙන මේක කරපු එක ලොකුම උදව්වක් අපේ වශයෙන්.
මෙහෙම දුන්නාට ඔයාලට ගොඩක් පින් සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ලොකු දෙයක් මේක හම්බෙච්ච එක අපිට.
The convoy carrying relief to the affected in Polonnaruwa reached the destination this evening. Relief was distributed among the displaced.
On to another one of our headline-making story. The All Ceylon Peasants Federation has called for an immediate emergency sitting of Parliament to be convened to address the plight of people affected by the extreme weather conditions.
මේ ඇතිවෙච්ච යහපත් කාලගුණික තත්ත්වයේ මත මේ රටේ ගොවි ජනතාව ඇතුළු මේ රටේ සමස්ත ජනතාව.
The agrarian community and all the people in this country are facing major disaster situations as a result of the extreme weather situation. We forcefully call upon all these people who are wasting millions upon millions of rupees on cutouts and banners to please look into the plight of the innocent people. We especially call on the government to convene Parliament, consider this disaster situation as a national emergency and intervene in the matter. We forcefully call on the government to do this.
විශේෂ මැදිහත් වීමක් කරන්න ආණ්ඩුව එකට අනිවාර්යෙන් මැදිහත් වෙන්න කියලා නම් අපි ආණ්ඩුවට බල කරනවා.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa reiterates that the youth who take part in the development activities of the country are not a burden for the treasury. The president made this statement addressing a meeting in Badula last evening.
The 16th meeting, held under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, organised by the UPFA ahead of the forthcoming presidential election, was held in Badula last evening.
They say that the enrollment of youth to the state sector has become a huge burden to the treasury. I said the youth who take part in the development activities of the country are not in any way a burden for us. So brothers and sisters, be mindful and wise. I am not afraid, brother. Do you think I am afraid? I will win. That is not my problem. I need more than 2 million votes. That is all. These leaders ask me why I don't smile anymore. I do not have any uncertainty about the victory of the president. There is only one thing for Sirisena to do. I tell Sirisena to withdraw himself from this game before the 8th of January and ensure victory to President Mahinda Rajapaksa. There is nothing else to do. Your Excellency the President, not only have you brought economic stability through the Mahinda Chintanya and the Mahinda Chintanya vision for the future, you have brought economic benefits to every angle of society. It is your responsibility and mine to protect the leader. It is only through this that we can protect the party. The party supporter in turn is protected only when the party is protected.
New Democratic Front presidential candidate Maithripala Sirisena claims that the government does not truly wish to solve the problems faced by the agrarian community. He made this statement at a public rally held in Thisamaharama today.
Several representatives of the common opposition attended the rally organised under the auspices of UNP Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa.
The Mahinda Rajapaksa regime does not truly wish to solve the problems faced by the agrarian community. At every instance, they have only been interested in how much they can get from the multinationals and the corporations. What major local industry have they established? Kidney disease is spreading not only in the Rajarata and Anuradhapura and Polonnarua, but in the Hambantota district as well. There is an heir apparent from the royal family who is in the cabinet. The heir apparent who represents the Gampaha district always works on behalf of the companies, corporations and the multinationals. It is they who frown and stare and then reject any popular proposals that are brought in by other government ministers. The government is printing mudslinging posters against me as well. They have printed 50,000 copies and their target is 2 million. It is being printed in green under the sponsorship of the government. They are trying to show that the UNP is slinging mud at Sajith Premadasa. People in the capital of their miracle, people in Thisamaharama, are starving without food because of the floods. They do not have water to drink. I request at this instance that they please take the money being used to print mudslinging posters against Sajith and use it instead to provide aid to the people who have been affected by the floods.
A public rally was also held in Ranatangol yesterday.
They do not allow opposition parties to engage in politics. All he wants is to be king of the country, even he has to wear a cardboard crown, a jackleaf cap and carry a copper sword. They do not know your hopes and aspirations. They say there is development and that per capita income is $3,000. If that is the case, you should be parking Benz cars all along the road. This system must change. We will take the people to this place and we respectfully ask that you understand this truth and this reality.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga also participated at a rally held in Ratkama yesterday to muster support for Maithripala Sirisena.
This ruler has gotten together several people from his family. No, in fact, he has gotten a whole jungle of people from his family and they're stealing assets that should be owned by the people and have destroyed the economy of this country. There is no money in the country. They take bank loans even to pay the monthly wages of public sector employees. The only reason for this, my friends, is the fact that they are acting out under the guise of development. They take as much as possible from the banks. They have bankrupted 2 banks and they are now taking loans from abroad at incendiary interest rates. They have turned 20 generations of your children into debtors. The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress has decided to pledge its support to the presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Maithripala Sirisena. Convening a media briefing today, the Muslim Congress said that they made this decision for good governance.
The media briefing, which was held under the auspices of leader of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, Rauf Hakim, was also attended by a group including General Secretary of the party, Hassan Ali, Party Chairman Bashir Segu Dawood, and Parliamentarian H.M. Haris. The SLMC announced that 8 MPs from the party, 13 provincial councillors and 163 members of local government authorities have pledged their support to Maithripala Sirisena.
The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress arrived at a decision today on pledging support to common candidate Maithripala Sirisena.
ඒත් සමගම මගේ අමාත්‍ය ධූරයෙන් මම අද ඉල්ලා අස්වීමේ ලිපිය අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාට දැන් යවලා තිබෙනවා.
Accordingly, I have sent my letter of resignation from my post as a minister to His Excellency the President. We had discussions within the party prior to this and decided to extend our support for his bid for a third term of office. However, until the final moment, we were unaware of the crime that had been committed by the 18th Amendment, taking away all of the key factors which ensure good governance in the 17th Amendment. Everyone can see and everyone accepts that this election has placed the country in a position where it is facing a major crisis. There was a mentality among the Muslim people about the various problems being faced by the Muslim community. It is now clear to us that all of this happened because of the catastrophe that befell good governance. Every battle that we fought internally was not as successful as we had hoped for.
ඒවා සිදුවීමට හේතුවේ මේ යහපාලනයේ සිදු වූ විශාල ඛේදවාචකය කියන එක පිළිබඳව අපිට දැන් පැහැදිලි. ඉතින් මේ පිළිබඳව අපි අභ්‍යන්තරයෙන් ගෙන ගිය හැම සටනක්ම එතරම් දුරට සාර්ථක වුණේ නැහැ.
Hakim also revealed that the SLMC councillors in the Western Provincial Council would not vote against the budget of that council.
නැගෙනහිර පළාත් සභාවේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා මුස්ලිම් කොංග්‍රසය
We are not going to be involved in any conspiratorial moves. The party has been principled on this issue. We have taken decisions based on certain principles. So deciding to withdraw support from any provincial council is not a matter that has really occupied our attention at the moment. And particularly the Eastern Provincial Council, since it is very delicate, we have decided not to upset the equation there as it stands.
දින්නට පස්සෙත් අපිට විපක්ෂ සමග ආණ්ඩුවේ ඉඳීමේ කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් අපිට නැහැ.
Journalists raised questions regarding the resignation of Deputy Minister of Productivity Promotion and SLMC Chairman Bashir Segu Dawood.
இல்ல நான் என்னடா இந்த தீர்மானத்தை இங்குதான் வந்து அறிவிப்பதாக இருந்தது. ஒரு சில நிமிடங்களுக்கு முன் நான் ஏற்கனவே தயார் செய்து
I sent my resignation letter since I had made plans beforehand. I spoke to our chairman Bashir Segu Dawood this morning and personally clarified to him the situation today. I state at this occasion that he expressed his willingness to resign from his ministerial position.
முழு ஆதரவையும் முஸ்லிம் காங்கிரஸ் வழங்க இருக்கிறது என்பதை நான் சொல்லியாக வேண்டும்.
Journalists also raised questions on the SLMC's capability of working with coalition partners including the JHU and TNA.
We have worked with various diverse groups. In fact, we were with the JHU in government. Why can't we be with them in the opposition?
Mr. Mahindra Abhiwadan expressed these views at a meeting in Mathura on the decision taken by the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress.
Today, Mr. Hakim left to accomplish their limited wants. They have no feeling towards the country. They want to empower a weak leader to accomplish their wants. You can take from the weak. You know, if a strong person is holding on to something valuable, you cannot take it away from him. It can be done if it's a weak person. That is what they are trying to do. Everyone who loves the country should unite at a time when the country is facing a threat. Hakim did not make this decision vaguely. He took everything and all the advantages from the government. They took their party to the other side. Now they want to take advantage from that side as well. That is their goal.
Former Minister Rishad Patiyuddin extended a challenge at a meeting held in Pulmude yesterday. National Unity Front leader Asad Sali was also present at the occasion.
Rishad and Rauf were called to a hotel and were told that for the first time in Sri Lanka's history, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the United National Party and 48 other organizations were going to form a historic government. I said that the two of them should join because otherwise there would be no Muslim representation. He thought about it that night and the next day in the morning he said, let us meet with Maitri. We went to Maitri that night and immediately reached a decision without any conditions. Our people are in extreme sadness. Mosques are being closed down. They are being broken. People are being killed. People who speak out on behalf of the people are being oppressed and are being arrested and thrown into prison. What face can I put on and speak in support of returning this king to power? This is my sadness. No one would have thought that I would take a decision like this. I received various phone calls. In the end, one of them called and said the boss had said to tell me that my life was in danger. They tried to frighten me by saying that the plight of the Muslim people in the north would be worse if I left. I asked my people. They guaranteed that they would be with me no matter what decision I took. When an incident occurred, I went and told him that the Muslim people are distancing themselves from him. We are elected public representatives. He said he does not need their votes. He said their votes are unnecessary. I crossed over to send him a message. We do not need positions or privileges. No matter how much interference was run, there were 50 in the police, 45 or 43 were removed. Today, they are following us on motorcycles. But in the end, it is Allah that will decide on time and manner of our death. This morning, the police were searching my house. I called my house in Manor and found out that they were searching there too. The office in Vaunia too was being searched. They asked how many people we have. I called the president on the phone and asked them to tell him not to play games with me. I said that if they play games with me, then I will call a media briefing and say everything that I have to say in the open and show them who I am. Afterwards, they stopped. This is the truth that I have not said in the open. I am saddened because I was inside and unable to speak of it. A craving was created in him and he was given an election that should have been held in another 2 years. Why is this? That is the destruction.
Deputy Minister Nishantha Muthuhettikama has been remanded until Tuesday. The Deputy Minister was arrested by the police this morning and was produced before the Baddagama magistrate today. With the presidential election drawing closer, a number of incidents of election violence are being reported from many parts of the island.
A warrant was issued on Deputy Minister Muthuhettikama for taking away 3 suspects who were in custody from the police. The suspects were connected to the incident where damages were caused to the stage of the opposition in Vanduraba. The police media spokesperson said that the Deputy Minister was taken into custody upon his arrival to the country from Singapore this morning. He was initially produced before the Nigama magistrate and was later produced before the Baddagama magistrate. Meanwhile, police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Tuhona says that a group of armed men had threatened police officers who were in the process of removing illegal election campaign posters down Blumenthal in Colombo.
සීමිත සංඛ්‍යාවක් නිලධාරීන් මේ මෙහෙයුමේදී සිට තිබෙන්නේ. නමුත් වාහන වලින් පැමිණි පිරිස ඊට වඩා වැඩි.
A limited number of officers have been assigned on duty. However, the number that arrived in the vehicles was far more than the number of police officers. It was reported that they were armed. The police were not able to make any arrests. After investigations, we were able to identify one of the vans. The van was seized in Narayanpita today. The driver too was arrested.
ඒ වගේම ඒ වෑන් රථයේ රියදුරුත් අත්අඩංගුවටගෙන තිබෙනවා.
A municipal councillor for Tehibela and Mount Lavinia, Savitra De Silva, recently attended a press conference of the common opposition and pledged that he will continue to support the government. Western Provincial Councillor of the Democratic Party, Susil Kindelpitiya, says that through such incidents, the government is attempting to suppress the opposition activists. Kindelpitiya made this statement at a meeting held in Humbutana yesterday.
The wife of former chairman of the Kottakawatta Mulleriya Pradesh Sabha also spoke at this meeting and spoke on the current situation being faced by her husband Prasanna Solangarachi.
We are faced with a situation where we cannot even live in our own house. Whenever we move about, we are checked by the security forces in an unnecessary manner. Recently, you must have witnessed how a municipal councillor from Dehiwala, Mount Lavinia, attended a press conference of the opposition and said that they will not support Maithripala Sirisena. That was just an act. The councillor had lodged a complaint yesterday. It says that my husband had provided him a weapon. So since yesterday, the police started to arrive at our house. They want to arrest my husband. In such a political backdrop, can we engage in peaceful politics?
They are planning to plant a weapon at Prasanna's house or in his vehicle and frame him so that an arrest can be made. Because this plan failed, they used the councillor Savitra De Silva from the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Council. You saw how he played a charade at the press conference. Now he has gone to the CCD and said that Prasanna gave him a gun. Prasanna has never seen this man and does not know of him. This is how the law is being implemented. They are attempting to imprison Prasanna. When Newsfirst made inquiries from the police media spokesperson, he said that information can be provided after looking into the matter. United National Party parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe, speaking at a meeting in Amatanda this morning, commented on the actions of municipal councillor Savitra De Silva.
ඔබතුමාලා දකින්න ඇති තම ප්‍රවෘත්තිපත්‍ර සාකච්ඡාවක් තිබ්බා. ඒකට සුයිසයිඩ් කාඩර් කෙනෙක් එවුවා ජනාධිපතිතුමා.
I recently convened a press conference. The president sent a suicide card for that. Before he arrived at the press conference, I received this picture of him with the president. This is how the suicide carders are sent. This is when he met with the president before taking up the suicidal role. Shame. Wonder if he will be beaten or killed. Will anyone send their sons like this? What an amazing love for the children. He says these are his children of the country. This was taken at the meeting in Dehibala 20 minutes prior to his arrival. I still wonder who was the person who came and took a seat there. Kirti Udavatta is the person who brought him. I said that this man was coming to pledge support to Maithripala Sirisena. From the beginning, I knew something was wrong, and this was a suicide carder. I did not panic. I allowed him to speak without being disturbed. This is our brand of democracy, my brothers.
සුයිසයිඩ් කාඩර් කෙනෙක් එවලා කියලා මම හැබැයි කිසිම කලබලයකටපත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. බාධා කරන්නද මම කන්නේ නැහැ කියන්න දෙන්න. ඒක තමයි අපේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සහෝදරනි.
With the presidential election coming closer, here are some of the views expressed in the political arena.
The war persisted for 30 years. They said that Mahinda Rajapaksa, who wears the sarong and the banyan from your neighbouring district Hambantota, couldn't finish the war. But he did it. Peace has dawned on us. The country is experiencing development thanks to Mahinda Rajapaksa. Therefore, we cannot ever forget this.
Mahinda Rajapaksa ජනාධිපතිතුමාට පින් සිද්ධ වෙන්න. ඒ නිසා අපිට කවදාකවත් මේ අමතක කරන්න බෑ.
දැන් හරියට මේක ගොම්මන් අඳුර වැටෙන වෙලාවකට කාන්තාවක් තනියම පාරේ ඇවිදගෙන යද්දී
When a woman is walking alone on the road after daylight, a group of thugs get together and try to rape her. Then someone comes in and saves the woman. Then he says, I saved you from the thugs, so you come with me. They are saying a similar story. They say they ended a 30-year-long war. So let us do whatever we wish with the country.
අපි අවුරුද්දක යුද්ධ දින්න අපිට ඕන විදියට මේ රට පෙරලන්න හරවන්න පිරිකන්න ඉඩ දීපල්ලා කියලා කියනවා.
වැඩිපුර මේගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ මඩ ගහන එකයි Facebook එකයි.
They're mostly sling mud through the internet and Facebook. Don't think much about that. We have a match on the 8th. We will practice for that match and do everything we can. If we do whatever necessary, then we will be able to face the match.
අපි ඒ කරන්න දෙන උමනා දේවල් ටික කරගෙන ගියොත් අපි එතකොට මැච් එකේ අපිට මැච් එකට මුහුණ දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ.
හැමදාමත් කරේ බොරුව. හෙටත් කරන්නේ බොරුව. මෙරටේ අහිංසක ජනතාවගේ
They always lied and they will continue to lie. They ripped off the innocent people of their hard-earned money. It is the people who must pay for their corruption and the bribes that they pay. The situation is such that these people will continue to pay for the next 20 to 25 years.
මේ අහිංසක ජනතාවත් මේ දරුවනුත් මේ අහිංසක දරුවන්ගේ ඉපදින දරුවනුත් ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 20 25 පුරාවට
මේගොල්ලෝ ඉල්ලන වෙනස තමයි මේ රට කෑලි කෑලි වලට කඩලා.
The change that these people are asking for is to tear this country apart and create a war where all communities will be killing each other. The people will not allow this. Please remember that day following the 8th. President Mahinda Rajapaksa would be the president of the country.
ජනවාරි මාසේ 9 වෙනිදා එළි වෙනකොට නැවතත් මේ රටේ ජනාධිපති මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ අපේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා කියන එක මතක් කරගන්න.
Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the government has not been able to enact important recommendations put forward by the report of the Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission. The opposition leader made these remarks addressing a public meeting that was held in Kalmune yesterday.
The public meeting was held under the auspices of opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe to muster support for presidential candidate Maithripala Sirisena. President Mahinda Rajapaksa appointed the LLRC to create reconciliation. There were a number of important suggestions in the report, but none of these were followed up. Mahinda Rajapaksa looked to create racism and nationalism to win the votes of the South. But what happened? The JHU, Champik Ranawaka and Athurali Ratanathera left. They were left without Tamils, Muslims and even the Sinhalese. They say he has worked tirelessly. Mahinda Rajapaksa is a friend of mine. So since he has worked tirelessly, I say let's send him home on the 8th of January. On our national flag, there is a colour for the Sinhalese, Muslims and the Tamils. Everyone feels hungry irrespective of their race. We will reduce the prices of 10 essential goods and fuel when we come into power.
A media briefing was convened by the JVP today.
අද තමන්ගේ ඵලය ගිලිහීමත් එක්ක රටපුරා ජනතාවගේ
As their power sinks today, the government led by the president are feeling shivers and are troubled by the change among the people all across the country. At the same time, there's a suspicion among the people that they will do some sort of thievery at the very last minute. This suspicion has arisen because of the past acts of thievery. The thievery, the jilmat they pulled at previous elections, including in 2010, will not be allowed this time around. For the part of the people, you must remain vigilant and observant, and if you feel any suspicion at all, immediately inform officials at the Elections Department. Inform the Elections Commissioner and inform us as representatives of political parties. We are also able to undertake some sort of intervention in such matters.
මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස් කාර්යාලයට දැනුම් දෙන්න දේශපාලන පක්ෂ නියෝජිත විදිහට අපිට දැනුම් දෙන්න අපිටත් පුළුවන් ඒකට අවශ්‍ය කරන මැදිහත් වීම කරන්න.
In business news this evening, data from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka shows that the price of fuel imported by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has not reduced parallel to the fall in oil prices globally.
Central Bank data shows that while world oil prices were at $112.27 per barrel in June this year, the CPC was importing oil at a cost of $113.42. When prices fell to $87.51 per barrel in October, the CPC was importing oil at a cost of $99.39. While data for the cost of crude oil imported by the CPC in November is not available yet, oil prices worldwide are currently around $60 per barrel. Notably, while world oil prices have dropped by about 46% since June, the prices of petrol and diesel in Sri Lanka have only reduced by 6% in this time frame.
And in sports news this evening, Dimuth Karunaratne scored his maiden test century and carried his bat through most of the third day to guide Sri Lanka's fight back into the first test against New Zealand.
Karunaratne in his 13th test was dismissed by Trent Boult for 152 just before stumps after batting more than 8 hours to guide Sri Lanka to 293 for 5, following on in their second innings, edging within 10 runs of making New Zealand bat again. Having been bowled out in their first innings for just 138 in reply to New Zealand's mammoth 441, Sri Lanka needed a greater show of resolve from its batsmen and got that in the shape of Karunaratne, who shared partnerships of 85 with Kaushal Silva for the first wicket, 87 with Lahiru Thirimanne for the third and 97 with Matthews for the fourth. Captain Angelo Matthews was 53 not out at stumps, his second half century of the match.
Well, up next is a look at the bitter truth.
Quoting substantive evidence, the bitter truth pointed out on the 14th of this month that even as the year 2014 comes to an end, there persists numerous unresolved issues in Sri Lankan sports and challenges that must be overcome. At the same time, Sri Lanka has also not succeeded in clinching significant victories in the international sporting arena this year. An example is Sri Lanka's failure to win even a single medal in the athletics events at the concluded Commonwealth Games and the Asian Games. The silver medal won by Sudesh Piris in the weightlifting events at the Commonwealth Games stands alone as Sri Lanka's only major victory this year. With the exception of the World T20 victory, Sri Lankan national sports teams have not won any international tournaments. The national organizer of the All Ceylon Sports Development Officers Union, Laksiri Bandara, says that 2014 has been one of the darkest years for Sri Lankan sport.
When looking back at 2014, it is evident that Sri Lankan sport has fallen to a very low level. As sports officers, we have seen that only the hopes and aspirations of a select group of sportsmen and women are met at the rural level. All sport is being steered by a single group. The sports ministry has become a Navalapitiya. The country has not moved forward in terms of sport. We have come to a level where we cannot even think of an international victory.
In
the majority of sports associations, the presidents and office bearers are only there for temporary pleasures, so they can go on international tours. But the moment you say that there has been no development in sport, they point the finger at the athletes and the coaches. It would be better if they point the finger at themselves. The presidents of the majority of sports associations do not even know the ABCs of the sport they are heading, but within 2 to 3 months, they are trying to give instructions to the entire nation.
However, Director General of Sports Ranjani Jayakodi does not accept that there has been no development in sport over the past year. Speaking to Sports First, she said that a great deal of attention had been paid to improving rural sports infrastructure this year. Jayakodi added that construction has commenced on 16 provincial sports complexes and that the Navalapitiya, Badula and Anuradhapura sports complexes were declared open this year. She noted that construction on the Mathura and Batikalo sports complexes has been completed. She expressed her belief that the benefits of the investment made in sports this year will be reaped in the years to come.
Before developing sport in the country, we need to look at how the human being, the sportswoman, the coach, the official can be made aware and trained. In the absence of such a program, the rulers of this country have wasted money throughout the year on constructing substandard sports stadiums scattered around the country. Look at athletics today. Although they say run, where can they run to? The sports ministry was established in 1966. From then to now, the sports ground at Independence Square has become unusable and cannot be even used for training. At the same time, both synthetic tracks at Colombo are unusable, but they do not accept this.
Will authorities take steps to bring to an end the dark era of Sri Lankan sports in the best interest of sports in the country? The bitter truth will continue to stand by good governance in sport next year as well.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great week ahead of you.